started here, and I was Santara was just holding my hands, and I just went with the energy of that, just sat in the energy of that, and Santara was saying, what are you getting? And I don't really ever get anything, I just get the feeling of it. It really shits me, because you all get pictures and number frequencies and everything, and I just get the feeling of it. Saying, what messages are you getting? And I'm saying, well, I can tell you what it feels like, and tell you sort of a colour of it, I can tell you, but and it was good, because I'm a bit of a slower comer to it, like Mark will get things quickly, and I always thought that was like I'd have to learn to get things quickly. But Santara said he can do both. He can get things either very quickly, or he sits with it for a while and then the information comes. So I've always been a bit more of a, if you just let me sit quietly, I'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more powerful. And like Jill was this morning, it would be very unusual for me to get to that in a second, or 2 or 3 or 10. But if I sat for a minute, I could get to that. So that was good to realise that it's not just me being slow, it's just, I guess, the way that I am. And so rather than backing off or getting frustrated or that I don't get this, you just go, that's okay, just keep going. And it was really good. There was no interruptions or talking to you, just let me keep going. I just kept going, and different feelings. And then I got to this sort of space I hadn't been in before, which was very light and enough to make me say, oh, this is an interesting space. And then he sort of rubbed my back and stuff, and then we stood up, and so I was holding that space. And then, so I was moving, and then before we stood up, he said, what did you get? And it was good, because we got the same things. And the first thing was being filled up with light. I sort of felt like I needed a charge, and I could feel he was doing that. And then I had that same experience that you said you felt, where there was like a rejigging inside you. There was things were being rearranged or something, and I felt those going do. Then just being filled with light, and I was getting more expansive, and there's a few more things thrown in there, but they all matched up, and that was good. And then when we stood up, he said, open your eyes and have a look out at the view, which I did. And as I stood and I looked out at the view, because I was already quite big and powerful, because we'd just done that whole time to get up to standing at the view, which I'd been holding on to. So he obviously said, expand out, encompass everything, have everything be inside of you, you're part of everything. And then once you got into that space, he said, now you partner with it and create with it. Oh, okay. And so feeling into that, clouds was the first place I started with, and because they're sort of moving, you could sort of almost catch a ride with the idea of partnering with them. That idea of partnering, you could catch a ride. And so then when you were doing that with them, look at that grass, I'll get to that grass in a second. And then when you could partner with the energy and really go into the cloud, and then I moved into the water, and the water worked the same because it was moving too. And they're the easier ones to sort of start with. So it was me being the totality of it. So it was me, but I was then in the movement of it. I was creating with it. And then the wind and the grass was good to do too. That was the same. And then I realised, just aside from all that when in all the experiences here, when you just look at the grass and you see that wind move through it, doesn't it move you? And you all feel something when you see that. Do you all get that? Well, I've been doing that, but then when you're in this experience, you hold it and you are moving it, and then I thought, I'll move to the trees, and then they were completely different, because when I tuned into them, it went really small into the breathing part of the leaves. And so what I was learning to do was feel the difference in energy of the larger and the smaller and that tree, and then that tree felt completely different. And then I went to the house, which made me laugh, because it's wanting to feel good because it's up for sale. And it was lovely to be able to, and then I went to the post, and the post was really hard. But anyway, pardon the pun. But, and and as I was doing this, Santari was saying, oh, it's so easy. And I thought, oh, I was really having to hold it because it was a new idea and it was such a large concept that I realised I was doing it, but I was actually almost stiff with the trying of it. And the more I realised I could feel different things, the more I softened, and Santari kept his hand in the middle of my back, and I could feel it sort of softening and softening. And he kept saying, yeah, it should be really easy. And I thought, oh, that's okay. And then I could feel that I was generating it from my legs too, which was good. So, you know, you feel like that you're this energetic thing doing it all, not just projecting out and understanding. And then you see that Santari sort of sees it like, so where I was getting to, and he was saying that you not only have to expand out, you have to do an extra explosive one to be part of its energy movement. And then I was coming from a point of view of catching a ride with things and creating with it. But then Santari goes further because he can encompass everything without holding it, and I'm sure it's just practice, and this is so much fun that I'm going to really practice it all the time. But because he can do it, encompass everything and practice this co-movement, controlling a co-movement with everything, so he goes that step further of actually, so it's like he's fully in command and orchestrating his own reality. So I'm moving into the idea of being able to energetically be with things, and he takes it that step further of being able to energetically make it happen and orchestrate it. How was that?
Fantastic.
That was good.
Beautiful. What a description of energy.
Yeah. It was really interesting.
Yeah.